What's happening? Facebook and YouTube. This is your sports guy, Kendrick, with TFG Sports Media and Kendrick Sports Hustle, and it is December 31st, 2024. Where has this time went? This year flown by. Is the last live show stream for TFG Sports Media for the year. Again, TFG Sports Media. Hope you guys are having a good New Year's Eve. Make sure you come in, hit that like, hit that comment button. Let me know where you're commenting from. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. That is TFG Sports Media right here on YouTube, as well as Kendrick Sports Hustle. That's SportzHustle. And make sure you like and follow them both on Facebook. So we're doing our top stories of 2024, and I got some guests, some good brothers that know their sports. And but before I bring them in, again, you know the rules in Club Kendrick. You got to come in, you got to comment, you got to share this to your social media platforms. You got to know let me know where you're watching from, and come in and join the conversation. Because again, we're going to be giving, and this is no right or wrong answer. This is our top 3 sports stories of 2020, because we had a lot of stuff going on in 2024. So we get started. It's Wi-Fi, so sometimes it may be a lag. So bear with a little pregnant pause or something. That's Wi-Fi. That's what we're doing. So just bear with us. So I'm gonna bring my people in right now. I'm bringing my good brother Rico McGee and my good brother Michael Coleman, KOTV Sports Director out of Tyler, Texas at the ABC affiliate. And Rico McGee is the owner and proprietor of the Rulers Minute Show on YouTube, and he's doing some good sports stuff. My good brothers, how y'all doing today?
Well, Happy New Year, man.
Happy New Year. I'm well, man. I'm well. Thank you for having me as always.
Always, man. You know I love to have my good brothers on, and I hope you all are having a. First of all, before we jump into our stories, so what are the big New Year's Eve plans for tonight? Let me start with you, Rico. You got any big plans tonight? Celebrate New Year's Eve? New Year's Eve, I'm sorry.
I'm probably going to go to, actually, after this, I'll probably clean up a little bit, bring in the new year, with a clean kitchen, got to clean up. And then I'm going to go to my good friend's house. Him and his fiance invited me over. They're having a New Year's party at their house. So I said, you know what?
Okay.
I'm headed there, man. Shout out to Double A, man, and the Side Hustle podcast.
That's what's up. Shout out to the Double A. Okay, I like that. Side Hustle podcast. I like that. I'm going to check them out.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Mike. What you got going on?
I'm going to check that out, too. Well, Mrs. Coleman and I were going to go to this party. You know Jose Feliciano. He throws a big whoop-de-doo around this time of the year. And so we're going to get Kansas City down, dressed down Kansas City style for me. Bought me a new hat. And I can't wait to show it. Might see it before the end of the show.
Okay.
So we're going to go and hang out tonight and bring in the new year. And I'm going to put my flask to work to see if I got a flask for Christmas. I'm going to see if it works. And we'll just go from there and get ready to watch those to me, the 3 big games that are on tomorrow. Get ready for that.
Right. All right. Well, that sounds like a plan. Okay. So that's good, my man. Y'all just be safe, whatever you do. Everybody just have fun. Enjoy your New Year's Eve festivities. So let's jump right into it, fellas. We count down our top sports stories of 2024. We know there was a lot of big sports stories happen. But I just wanted us to just talk about our top 3, because if we did 5, we could be here all day. Or 10. We definitely could be here all day. So we're gonna start with our top 3. Mike, you got the floor. What was your number 3 sports story from 2024?
All right, my top 3. We're gonna do 5. We're going from 3 to 5.
Yeah, we go from 3 to 1. Oh, 3. Your number 3
to 1.
Your number 2, then your number 1.
Okay.
Starting at number 3. What was your
third? Number 3.
Yeah, 3 to 1.
Okay, 3 to 1. Okay, there you go. I'm gonna go with Caitlin Clark not because of her play so much, but because of the dialogue and the conversation that was ensued once she got into the WNBA, and it's still kind of continuing on because she's giving props to the sisters of the WNBA, and the folks on the other side of the aisle, they not feeling her now. I don't know if you've seen some of that conversation, but and a few of these women in the WNBA she looked up to. Just like we all have role models when it comes to sports. The women in the WNBA, 70% Black, they were her idols, her role models. And so for the MAGA, or for those in that side of the world who tried to use her as a weapon against, sisters in WNBA, she flipped the script on them. And it's like, hey, listen, it's because of these Black women I'm playing in the WNBA. And they don't like that. They don't like that whatsoever. So more power to her, right. She's a good player. She's all of that. She ain't there yet, but she's on that track. But I think she's made more of a social impact than a game impact in just her rookie season. Just like Ali, he had a social impact. Jesse Owens had a social impact. And this is one of the few white athletes that's had a social impact where the conversation was about race regarding a white athlete. Usually it's with the Black men, but here it's a young white girl who has ignited conversation in the social aspect of her and white women and Black women playing sports. Because she's even said, I don't know, I can't remember the names of the women she mentioned. She's like, they don't have a commercial? Why? How come they don't have a commercial? They're all time this and all time that. So to see her go against the bend, because that's not easy to do, to go against the grain, when in America, and it's like the guy who got in trouble with the brothers in the Olympics, the white guy, the Australian. He was on Tommy Jones. I can't remember their name right now, but I'm talking about the brothers that did the Black Power fist at the Olympics in '68.
Yeah.
And he got ostracized for standing up for them. So we need to see more of this. And I think we will, because this is a different generation and they know where their bread is buttered. So that going through all that, I'm going Caitlin number 3.
Mike, that was again my good brother Michael Coleman. His number 3 top sports story is Caitlin Clark, and she was definitely a phenomenon. I get it. You're right. She brought a whole different set of eyeballs to the WNBA. Well, my good brother Rico, what's your number 3 top sports story of 2024?
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to go, my number 3, I'm going with Simone Biles at the Paris Olympics. Listen, Simone Biles, there's no conversation in my personal opinion anymore. She is the greatest gymnast of all time. And she added 4 new medals, which is crazy. I think she now has 11 Olympic medals altogether, 7 gold, 2 silver, 2 bronze medals from previous Olympics. And then what she did was just nothing short of amazing. I mean, and the reason why it's so important to me, 2024 was a year of redemption for a lot of people and a lot of teams. I'm going to get into it. And she had what they call the twisties. The twisties is a mental issue that causes gymnasts to lose control of their bodies while they're in the air. So I think she didn't make the Olympics the last time, or she didn't compete in the last Olympics. So for her to come back and to cement.
She pulled out. Yeah, because she was having,
Yeah, she pulled out of the Olympics. And for her to come back and to put her foot down and make her mark, that hands down one of the greatest performances I've ever seen. So Simone Biles for me is definitely number 3.
And you made a good point, Rico, when you talk about redemption, because the Olympics probably could be looked at as a redemption for another athlete by the name of Sha'Carri Richardson, who didn't make my top 3, but she definitely was in my top 10 when we're talking about redemption. So I definitely agree with you on that, Rico. Well, my number three is the father-son duo of LeBron James and Bronny James. I mean, when you think about what happened in June, the Lakers selected Bronny Jr., number 55 in the second round. The first time in NBA history that we had a father-son duo to suit up and play in a game and then to play on the same team. So that definitely was definitely historical in its own, opening night versus the Timberwolves. And then the words nepotism. I don't think most people had even used that word probably 5 times in their life. But after this pick by the Lakers, we heard everybody and their mama using the word nepotism. And the scrutiny that followed this pick and this young man that's still following him right now. So, I just look at from a dad perspective, I got it. It was one of the warm and fuzzies. As a dad, that's kind of something you would like to see. You have a son, he want to follow in your footsteps. But on the flip side of that, I also can see the pressure that that's been put on Bronny at this point. That may be unfair to him because his dad was being a little selfish. Yeah, I said it. I think LeBron was being a little selfish for him actually wanting to stick around to play with his son. And that's just my thoughts on that. You guys, what's your thoughts on
it? Hey, listen, you took the words right out of my mouth. Watching him just come and just seeing them step on the floor. I'm talking about before they even threw the ball in for the game to continue. It was just one of those. It was one of those moments, man. I almost shed tears. I was just so proud to see that. I mean, LeBron, who's regarded widely as the greatest of all time. I'm sorry to some of y'all. Jordan's still my GOAT, but that was just amazing. Just amazing.
Yeah. Mine too. No apology. No apology.
Okay,
mine too. Right.
Yeah. Well, if we'd gone top 5, that was my number 5, and it was impactful because it just. Because we all remember LeBron being a teenager. You know, we showing our age now at this point, right? And then his son's playing, you know, and just like the Griffeys. I think they were there for the event as well. And Kendrick, you made a good point about, he was selfish, just like Joe Biden was selfish, pardoning his son. So, you're gonna see and act out for your son, for your kid, no matter what anybody else says. And not a bad move, a good move. It will go down in history, like LeBron is going down in history. So no, good call.
Yeah. And I think again, Bronny has been playing better. Rico, you were able to check him out against Imani Bates, right? Wasn't they in town playing?
Yep, they played. He had 29
a couple of nights ago. Yeah,
he had one of those games. He had 29 points. He's showing now. I mean, he's improving, definitely improving. But I always tell people this is why the G League is so important. 29 points in the G League versus 29 points in the NBA is 2 different things. You got to find other ways to impact the game. But he's definitely finding his footing. He's getting more comfortable out there. He's playing looser. He's playing with more confidence. So, yeah, I'm definitely excited to see how the season continues for him and him in the future moving forward.
Man, I like this. Everybody, if you're watching, make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, comment, let me know you're watching, where you're watching from. And also, I put my good brother Rico McGee's his link to his YouTube channel, The Ruler's Minute Show. It's in the comments. Make sure you go there and subscribe to his channel if you so kindly would. All right, Mike, let's get to you. Your number 2 top sports story of 2024. What you got for me?
Well, we're not talking about death, so because Willie would be in that, OJ would be in that, but we're going to keep it uplifting.
We're gonna talk about that in a separate segment.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna read off some of
it just happened. Travis Hunter.
My bad. I didn't want to interrupt you, but we'll talk about that.
Travis Hunter. I mean,
Okay.
that's only 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
I mean, what he had? He had
Yeah.
92 receptions, 14 touchdowns, 1,400 yards rushing, 11 passes defended. I mean, this cat was on both sides of the ball, and he played 1,487 snaps. That's what it is. Whether it's yards or snaps, it's a whole bunch. There's a whole bunch, and and I just saw New England might be interested in bringing him on board to play both sides now. So I think there was just he would not have been allowed to play both positions anywhere else at all, but where he was at in Colorado. And so kudos to him. He made history, and it's going to be a long time before anybody forgets about this cat at the collegiate level. I don't care what he does in the pros. He won't be a bust in the pros, but this is going to stand out. Now, if he has a Hall of Fame career, that's a different story. But this right now, it's a collegiate Hall of Fame career for sure.
I agree. As far as Travis Hunter was definitely that was.
Well, let me ask.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you good, Rico. No, but I want to get a little salacious on this since Mike made this his number 2, Travis Hunter, because I haven't talked about it, but everybody and their mama and daddy and first cousin and talked about it in the social media. Travis Hunter's relationship with his girlfriend and all the noise that has come with that with social media. I just want to get you guys' thoughts on what advice would you give Travis Hunter about this relationship? I'll start with you, Rico. What advice would you give him?
Honestly, I'm gonna play devil's advocate. Nobody knows what's going on in your relationship but you and her. I know there were quotes that came out, there were things that came out, but we got to be careful with things that we take from social media because sometimes they could get blown out of proportion. I don't know that young lady. I don't know him. He has to make the decision that he feels is best for him, and he has to tune out all the outside noise. Because, from the outside looking in, it's easy to call this girl a gold digger. It's easy to, say that, oh, she's just out for the money. She's just like every other gold digging woman that sees a man on his way to the top. And me personally, I just feel like, Trav, just tune out the noise, brother. You got to do what's best for you. Y'all know what y'all got. We don't. And if it's not kosher, God will reveal that to him, and then you move accordingly from there. That's just my humble opinion.
Yeah. That's great advice. That would kind of be where I would go with that too, Rico. Mike, what advice would you give this young brother in regards to his relationship with his girl or fiance? I think they are engaged, if I'm not mistaken.
Engaged.
So they're engaged.
I'm going to echo Rico because I'm gonna be honest with you. I really haven't given it 2 cents. Because that's a
me too.
That story or whatever it is. We know it's going to be. He's going to be on the sports pages. And then he's got a woman that takes it off the sports pages into People Magazine or whatever, and they're looking for content. And this is juicy. It's out there, and he is who he is. And they've attached themselves, outside of sports media. They've attached themselves to this story, So I really haven't paid attention to it. But like Rico said, only those two know what they have. All I know about this young man is what he has done on TV on Saturday afternoons. That's all I know. And, it's like when Magic was doing his thing, then the AIDS thing came up. Nobody wanted to judge Magic because Magic was Magic. If he'd been a scrub, he took a beating in the media, and he got somewhat of a beating, but the mere fact that his woman stayed with him, that shut everything else off noise wise. And I think this is not near as drastic as Magic's situation. These are two young people that in the day's world with social media and all of this, they got a whole lot they got to track because, back in our day when we were in high school and stuff, whatever we were doing off the field, nobody cared.
Yeah.
Nobody cared. And now because this young man, if he's Mr. Irrelevant, he wouldn't get this kind of noise.
Right.
If he was the last person drafted, nobody pay attention to that story. But because he accomplished what he accomplished, he's attached to Coach Prime, and they turned out the big 1 season turnaround and all of that. It's none of my business. So Rodrigo said, turn off the noise. Y'all know who y'all are. Forget everybody. But see, that's where he's probably more developed athletically than he is psychologically.
He is
if that makes sense.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. Because this brain,
Yeah,
he's a kid.
Yeah.
He's a young man up here. He's a man with the body in athletic events and stuff.
Right.
But up here, he's learning life, man, and just like she's learning life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a very good point, Mike. So yeah, man, y'all brothers, man, y'all spoke on that eloquently. I actually agree with everything both of you guys said on that. So, well, Travis Hunter, we rooting for you, brother. But get that prenup though. Hey, if you watch this, get that prenup, player. I'm gonna tell you, get that prenup. All right, Rico, your number 2 top story from 2024.
All right, I'm going to continue with the story of redemption, and I'm going to say South Carolina, the women's Gamecock basketball team, winning it all against Iowa and Caitlin Clark, shutting down that fairy tale story, because it would have been crazy if Caitlin Clark won the national championship. But head coach Dawn Staley and Carmela Cardoso coming back, and that whole team, really Raven Johnson was the hero of that team. But she finished the story, in my opinion. Gamecocks went undefeated, 38-0. They lost to Iowa the previous year in the women's Final Four. Came back with the same team. Went back to the drawing board. Held each other accountable. This is what we did wrong. This is what we got to fix. Raven in the gym, working hard, working. In the film room, getting the study on, So for South Carolina to come back and do what they did, not only did they get revenge, but they just dominated on the way there. To me, it just bred, like, that story is just finished.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Dawn Staley has put her name in the. She, now she's legendary when you think about women's basketball. The little time that she's been in South Carolina, she's legendary coach now at this point, and she's able to get the great players in. So yeah, you're right, and I never really thought about that. What if Caitlin Clark and Iowa would have won the national championship?
Listen,
how different would
the
you
Olympics.
think women's the story probably would have just been nuts. Oh, you think so? You think so?
Yeah. If they had won the NCAAs, she'd be on the Olympic team.
Yeah, her and even though Angel Reese didn't win, she should have been on that team too.
Right. Yeah.
Definitely, her and Caitlin Clark should have been on that team.
Yeah.
They won the gold regardless, but still, it would have definitely cemented.
We'll see, and that just goes to show you those who were in charge of this whole thing. How could they not have put those two young women, the future, the new generation, to introduce them to the world?
Mm-hmm.
There was a great opportunity, So they missed an opportunity. There's no doubt about that.
Kind of blew it, even though they won gold. I think they care more about women.
I respectfully disagree with both of you all. I don't think Caitlin Clark should have been on the team.
No, I think if they had won, if they had won in Iowa,
should have been on the team. Because just the way that it's set up, I still don't think neither one of them should have been on there, even if it would have. No, because Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese have, they got a long career ahead of them. You got other women that's been balling, that has proven themselves on the international level. They've played in the Olympics. They've played on that level. You got to remember these two young ladies hadn't played. The international game is a little bit different. It ain't
True.
It ain't like, you know what I'm saying? So I think, and then they were still playing in a tournament. So they didn't even get to go to the camp. So you asking to bring these two ladies in that hadn't even practiced with the team, during the camp. So that's why I think you would have put them in a bad position if you would have named them to the team, in my opinion.
Yeah, but how many bad positions have sports been doing lately? You know what I'm saying? And it survived. Because rules are broke. Hey, don't nobody care about rules no more.
Listen,
they just be shattering stuff. I know we're getting up on a tangent. You think they gave a damn about Oklahoma and Nebraska no longer playing each other again? No. Or Texas and Texas A&M? I was mad. I said, wait a minute. You cannot have these two tremendous rivalries no longer play each other. And then what happens 13 years later or whatever, Texas and A&M are back playing again. Because, what used to be comes back. But no, I hear what you're saying, though, Kendrick. I hear what you're saying. But I guarantee you, though, if let's say if it was Clark Caitlin, a young man playing basketball who was a phenom, he'd have been on that team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That'd have been different. That's
because they would have known him. They would know who he is.
Yeah. And that's the double standard. I get what you. And I don't disagree with what you guys are, but I also you would have been putting these young ladies in a precarious position with them not really playing with those women. They hadn't practiced. Right. So I don't know if that would have been the right thing to do. The thing that helped them is they did win the gold medal. If they wouldn't have won the gold, it would have been all hell. Because they struggled. They struggled, obviously.
67, 66.
But they eventually won the gold. So I know. So that's why, the noise was coming like, okay, we should have had Caitlin. We should have had her on the team and this and that. So I hear you, Rico. I definitely agree with the South Carolina, and I love me some Dawn Staley, man. I love what she's done for women's basketball, as well as Gino Auriemma. I can't leave him out. Matter of fact, he was one of the top stories in 2024.
Yeah, he was.
He's the winningest Division I coach ever, men or women. So, can't leave him out as well. So that's a damn good one. So I'm gonna get to my number two, and we go. The women that took over our top stories,
you're right,
fellas. Just to let you know,
right.
My number two is the WNBA mania. That was my number two top story of 2024. This was their 28th season, and I think any of us can say that it hasn't been this much spotlight on this league since I'm going back. Rico is a little younger than us, Mike, but it hadn't been this much spotlight on this league since the Houston Comets with Cynthia Cooper and Cheryl Hoops and Tina Thompson and all that. So we going way back. Yeah. You remember, Rico? Okay. This is what the WNBA done this season. They had a 48% increase. Oh, see, you ain't had to say all that, Rico. You ain't had to go there. You make me feel old now. but they had a 48% increase in attendance, league-wide. 22 regular season games of the WNBA attracted over 1 million viewers, 22 regular season games on TV. She was also the first team all WNBA. MVP was A'ja Wilson. New York Liberty won their first championship. And then we got the rivalry between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. That set this league on fire. It was similar to the Magic Johnson and Larry Bird rivalry that happened when they both came out of college. So, go ahead, Rico.
You know what? I love that because I was just having this conversation with my homeboy T, which I'll get to my number one once we talk about it. But Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, and listen, when Juju comes out from USC, when I forgot her name, Paige Becker comes out from
Yeah,
UConn, the WNBA is going to be must-see TV after a while. Maybe not next season, but you give it a couple of years, you bring in some more talent. WNBA is definitely going to be must-see TV. Definitely.
I believe that. I believe you're right.
I cover Cleveland State basketball.
Yeah, and they added, yeah,
and
right.
Women's basketball,
and they're adding some teams too. If I think Portland is getting the next team.
Yeah,
and Kansas City.
Portland is getting the next WNBA
Kansas City's
team.
talking about getting a franchise.
Go ahead, Mike.
No, I said Kansas City is looking at getting a franchise with Patrick Mahomes' name attached to it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see the Cleveland Rockers come back.
Let me ask you guys this: What was your take? Oh, the Cleveland Rockers. Was that the name of the WNBA team?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Yep. We was one of the first cities with it.
Let me ask you this. What was your take on the Angel Reese Caitlin Clark rivalry? Do you consider it a rivalry? They actually really didn't, was it considered a rivalry? Let me start with you, Rico. Did you consider them two nemesis?
As far as competition goes, but I don't think they hate each other or anything like that. I just think it's just fierce competition. I feel like Angel Reese feels like her contributions are kind of downplayed a little bit, and that's why she's speaking the way that she's spoken. And Angel Reese, listen, I've always said this: every protagonist needs an antagonist, and that's how you tell an excellent story. That's why I believe Angel Reese is just as important to the WNBA and this surge as much as Caitlin Clark, because if Caitlin Clark just goes in there and dominates, nobody will care. You look at the rivalry that they kind of had in college. Angel Reese beat Caitlin Clark for the national championship the year before South Carolina beat them.
Yeah.
They meet in the women's Final Four. Caitlin Clark gets revenge.
I agree with that, Rico. Mike, what's your...
No, Rico's right. Ali had Frazier. Magic had Bird. Wilt had Bill. It's in the same lane, and that's like you look at sports, you look at dynamic players, you need to have a rivalry, and they like it. They don't hate each other because they both know they're good for one another, and overall they're good for the league, and so. You don't be surprised if you see a commercial with those two young ladies in the same commercial within 2 years, based off their history. They come in with history. And so you need to build on that history. So no, I agree wholeheartedly with Rico is that these two young ladies, they're going to be rivals until the end, until they both are through playing. That's because they don't have any other rivalry. As long as the WNBA has been around, they have not had that dynamic, but they do now.
Not since the days of Lisa Leslie versus Rebecca Lobo.
Yeah, right. And and there are other
good point.
And other production companies are getting involved. Look for Netflix. I haven't read this anywhere, but look for Netflix to get into the WNBA game here eventually.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You're right. Or Amazon Prime.
Amazon
Prime already is showing games. So you're right. So that was my number 2. And so we now getting down to our number 1 top stories of 2024. Mike, you get the first. It's on you, brother. Your top story, sports story for 2024 is on you.
Here it is. Super Bowl champ.
I should have known.
Super Bowl champ.
I should have known.
Back to back. And they're working on a three-peat.
Not a three-peat.
And they're sitting kind of pretty right now. I know everyone, again, I'm about to talk about those close games, one-score games, and the bubble's going to burst. And then they hang a bunch with 28 points or 29 points, I think, because they missed the extra point on Pittsburgh. I like Pittsburgh. That's a good team. That's a good defense. And so now they're the 8th team to go back to back and looking to be the first to go trade. And I'm feeling a whole lot better now about Kansas City than I was 4 weeks ago. 4 weeks ago, because this is the time of the year they start settling down and getting things right. You know, getting that bye and getting that home field was probably the most important to the Chiefs, more so this year than the other 2 Super Bowls they've won. Primarily because they've been, we talked about it on your show, Kendrick. They've been adding people throughout the whole season. They bringing in new faces to help shore up something, And Pacheco's healthy at the right time. Hollywood is back at the right time. Xavier Worthy is meshing in pretty good. He's been in some of these close games, and so that was a number one story for me. There's a bias, but number one story for me, and they'll be number one next year if they pull it off this year.
I hear you, Mike. And for some reason, I kind of knew the Chiefs was going to be your number one top story, but I get it. They on the verge of trying to do something that has never been done in the NFL, a team three-peat. So I definitely, and just Patrick Mahomes, what he's done in his short time, he's basically he's warming up his seat for that to be on the Mount Rushmore quarterbacks. So I get it.
Yeah,
Rico, you what you think about Mike? What you think about the Chiefs working on that three-peat, Rico?
Honestly, they're the best team in the AFC. They're going to blow through the AFC. Pittsburgh is good. They're not Super Bowl contenders. And I really don't see nobody. The fact that you have to go through Arrowhead in January is already a nightmare unto itself. I wouldn't want to do it. I'll just call off that day. And they're definitely going to come out of the AFC if they could stay healthy, of course. And I think if they can, just continue, their winning ways. Patrick Mahomes is a winner. Patrick Mahomes finds ways to win. If there's no way to win, trust me, he's going to find one. I mean, yeah. I've seen him just do crazy things, crazy work. I mean, Madden, I don't even want to talk about Madden, but Kansas City's just my pick to come out of the AFC. Now, as far as the NFC is concerned, it'll probably be if Tampa Bay makes the playoffs, and you can't sleep on Buffalo either.
Right.
Buffalo, they're the only.
Mm-hmm. Right.
They scare me.
Buffalo might be the dark horse, but I don't know. We'll see. Buffalo and Kansas City.
Because cold weather ain't nothing to Buffalo.
No, exactly. Buffalo is just like Cleveland as far as the winters is concerned, man. When it's deep freezing and it's snowing, this is what we do. Cold weather football is what we do. So they're not worried about that. Now, as far as the NFC is concerned, give me.
All right. So there you have it. Mike's gave. Oh yeah.
Nope, you good.
Go ahead. Who you got? Who you got in the NFC, Rico? No. I want to hear who you got.
Detroit has looked great all season, but if Tampa Bay makes the playoffs, they're probably going to be. No, I take that back. Washington is going to be the dark horse in the NFC, and you better watch out.
I like that.
Okay. Well, you heard that from a good brother Rico McGee. Watch out for them Commanders of 2024. What you got for
my number one story?
For me, brother.
Okay. The NBA and their slipping ratings is my number one story. And everyone talks about.
Yes, sir.
Everyone talks about how, You know, for me, the NBA just doesn't have an identity right now. The Christmas Day games were really good, especially the Lakers Warriors game. That was a good game. Everybody played hard. If they could keep that up consistently, I think you could be on to something. It's just everybody has to play hard. No more tricks, no more weird stuff, man. Like the All-Star game hasn't been good in years. All-Star weekend period hasn't been good in years. And it's just it's frustrating to watch. It's like the NBA in the 90s was better. I know people say, well, you guys are over 40. You want to see, because they competed, and to some degree, there was a little bit of animosity. You look at those great rivalries, Reggie Miller versus the New York Knicks, the Bulls versus the Knicks, the Lakers and the Kings in '02, controversial. I think the NBA just needs a great rivalry again. They just don't have that right now. And that's really what's missing. And there's just no identity. So the NBA ratings on the decline is my number one.
And that's interesting you brought that up, because I was just reading about that, about the NBA, and they were saying that the Christmas Day ratings were a little bit better than it have been in the last 5 years. But I get it. You're right. I think people are tired of seeing these players jacking up threes and jumping teams and pairing up and all that, And so I think a lot of people has got tired of watching the NBA product.
Yep.
And I get what you're saying.
And there's also players that, the management thing, taking days off, that kind of stuff. Baseball players don't even do that, other than the pitchers. That's just part of the game. Pitchers, baseball's 162 games, man. And and when they first proposed about Joel Embiid taking off every couple of days or whatever that was, like, wait a minute, what? You're gonna do that? And he gets hurt anyway. But yeah, it's just stuff like that. They're tinkering with too much stuff to ace themselves out. They're becoming hockey. They're becoming hockey in terms of being turned off by it. And the only reason why people are turned off by hockey is because you can't find it on television. It's hard to find it. You don't know where they're going to be from one week to the next, because they don't really have a stable home. But for all the networks that are busting their tail to cover the NBA and giving them that exposure, they're being let down.
And that's the whole point. My whole issue. Hockey is like, you don't hear from hockey until the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yep.
I mean, you don't even know who's on the team, like who's worth watching, who's exciting to watch. All I know about hockey is you hit a puck and you fight. That's all I know.
That's it.
Yeah. What's done with the show? To give y'all my number one top story of 2024, and I'm surprised. Well, I'm sure this probably was in one of y'all in y'all top 5 or 10. But I gotta go with Uncle Shay, Shannon Sharp, Star Power, Skyrocket.
I didn't have him on my bingo card, but I hear
started in January with that interview with Cat Williams. That is now at 86 million views. If you didn't know, that interview on Club Shay Shay. Matter of fact, Club Shay Shay, the channel has 3.74 million subs. His Nightcap YouTube channel with Chad Ochocinco has 1.6 million subs.
That's good.
He's part of ESPN First Take now after him and Skip Bayless divorce. His Instagram Live went viral when he was having some goings on with a lady named Michelle that he said was an accident.
No,
so you see, he's a good marketer too.
Viral.
Right. I know exactly why
yeah, right. And now, I mean, he just is a star. Wherever you go, you see Shannon Sharp. Whenever you're on social media, you're on YouTube, I just have to say, as great of a football player he was, Hall of Famer.
Greatest
Doggone
time.
it,
One
he's
of the
turned into
greatest.
social media star.
Mm-hmm.
That's my number one sports story of 2024, and it seemed like his stars just keep going. What's you guys' thoughts on Shannon Sharp?
Shannon Sharp
Well,
is one. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Reek. Okay. When you talk about 86 million, I guarantee you a third of those were people who saw it the first time around.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to see it again. Because I guarantee there were some return viewers to the Cat Williams interview.
Mm-hmm. And that interview gave crazy numbers. I still ain't. I looked at bits and pieces of it, but I just wasn't interested. But Shannon Sharp, when it is, he's arguably one of the greatest tight ends in NFL history. I'm still mad he beat my team in the Super Bowl. I'll never forget that. I'll never forgive him for that. But he's cool. But I'm not surprised. I really think that whole Shannon Sharp thing, the tape thing, was funny. When I listen, I'm like, bro, you don't accidentally go on live. You know what you were doing, and I respect you for it. I respect you for it. So.
Yeah, I with you, Rico. You don't accidentally hit it live. You have to go through a couple of steps to do it. And so, but I mean, hey, but again, he is star power right now. He is the name, the hottest name on the block, and so that is my number one top sports story for 2024. Now we're gonna change gears a little bit, then we're gonna get out of here, guys. We're going to sports greats in 2024. I'm just gonna read off some, and then I just want you guys to kind of just give me your thoughts. Norm Snead, Carl Weathers, Chris Mortensen, Vontae Davis, former cornerback with the Bills. The late O.J. Simpson, Whitey Herzog, Roman Gabriel, Jim Otto, Bill Walton, Larry Allen, Dallas Cowboys offensive lineman, Chet Walker, Jerry West, the logo, Willie Mays, the Say Hey Kid, Orlando Cepeda, Monty Kiffin, the mastermind behind the Tampa 2, Jacoby Jones, Texans wide receiver, Joe Jellybean Bryant, father of the late Kobe Bryant, Abner Haynes, Chichi Rodriguez, Al Adams, Mercury Morris, Dikembe Mutombo with the finger, Pete Rose, Greg Landry, Louis Tiant, Fernando Valenzuela, Bobby Allison, Jerry Faust, Notre Dame coach that had never coached college before. He was a high school coach. John Robertson, Lou Conaselka, Big East, St. John's, Dick Van Arsdale, and Ricky Henderson, and Greg Gumbel, the last two. Your thoughts on some of these sports greats that we lost in 2024? Start with you, Rico. Your thoughts.
Dikembe Mutombo was easily one of my favorite big men, especially when he went to the Atlanta Hawks. I'm from Cleveland. I'm a Cavaliers fan, but I've always low-key rooted for the Hawks because I like the Hawks. And Dikembe Mutombo was just easily one of my favorite big men. And then I remember when he accidentally hurt LeBron in a game, and he was so overwhelmed by emotion because he felt so bad behind what happened that he cried in post-game. And when he cried, I'm like, damn, yo, this dude really, like, he cares. He didn't mean to hurt him. And, from there, my respect level for Dikembe Mutombo went from like right here to here. And the work that he's done in his own community, man, he just seemed like one of the nicest, most humble, people that he was just one of the GOATs to me, man. I don't care what nobody say. No, he may not have had the stats that some of your other big men had, like a Shaq or an Elijah Wan, but he was just still easily the work that he did on the court, the work that he did in the community. I mean, he's just easily one of my favorites, man, and he will just be sorely missed. I was hurt when I found out about that.
Yeah, it's a lot on this list that definitely touched me a little bit. Mike, I know you got a few on here. What's your thoughts on some of the sports legends and icons that we lost in 2024?
I'm going to go with two. First, I'm going to go with OJ. Forget all the other stuff. You know, when I was a little boy watching football, learning how to play football, that was my guy. And not just because of how he could play, his personality.
Right.
I mean, this dude here was in TV commercials and, go OJ, go, that kind of stuff in the airport, hurdling and stuff. And I read that the first time the term superstar was used, it was used by Howard Cosell on O.J. Simpson, and for me, that era of sports, I'm a few years older than both of y'all, but for me, the 70s and the early 80s, man, late 60s, I'm a little boy, and Gail Sayers 2 years ago passes away, and this is the guy who was my athletic director years later. I went to go to school at SIU. So a lot of these guys who were with me all of my life, have gone away. Ricky Henderson, we're about the same age. I'm just still shocked. They say it was pneumonia. I'm like, wait a minute, we got stuff for pneumonia, right? But I mean, wow, and I met him about 7 years ago at the Negro League Baseball Museum, and just a cool cat, and me being silly. Come on, man, let me race you in the back of the parking lot. He's, be careful, I might take you up on that. But that's just kind of guy he was. I'm having fun with him. He's going along with it. He's not, and he wasn't even third person. He didn't say, be careful, Ricky might take you up on that. He said, be careful, I might take you up on that. But, for him to pass away here recently. So, it's a deal where for young people, whoever you idolize in terms of what they do on the court, on the baseball field, on the football field, definitely embrace what they do. I always tell kids, we don't know what these athletes are doing off the field. Now, there are a few exceptions. OJ and Pete Rose, we know what they were doing off the field. But their prowess.
Right. We know what they were doing, true.
But see, what they did on the field, that's where my connection comes from, is watching them and just like, oh my God, how did he do that? And I'll get out of this with this last thing. OJ broke the single season rushing record in the snow. And years later, when he was asked, how did you do that? Because everybody else was slipping and sliding. He said, I used the back of my heel as my rudder. He said, I discovered it by accident. Back of my heel was stuck in the ground and it gave me traction. And I was able to pivot right, left, or whatever, while everybody around me trying to tackle me was sliding and slipping. I discovered, I could do this in the snow. I mean, a coach didn't teach him that. That's something that he picked up on himself. That's greatness right there as an athlete. And so that's for me.
I do want to touch on Vontae Davis because
go ahead, Rico.
Vontae Davis coming out of college was one of the corners when I was playing football. When I played defensive back, so I looked up to the big time corners that were coming out of college into the draft, and Vontae Davis highlight tape was just nothing short of amazing. For those that don't know, he's the brother of NFL tight end Vernon Davis, former NFL tight end Vernon Davis. And he was one of those players that I wanted to try to model my game after. You know what I'm saying? Like him. I played a little bit of safety too, so I tried to model after him. Sean Taylor, all of those guys. So when I heard that Vontae Davis passed away, I was kind of like, oh man. Because I've always respected his game and always admired, the way he approached the game of football. So to me,
and you felt a connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when he when I found out that he passed it, I just respected the way he approached the game, man. And I think he was a very underrated corner. Very underrated.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's just looking at this list again, just to kind of echo you guys, man. Our sports, I think sometimes we think these guys live forever, and and obviously they don't. And you have to definitely appreciate them while they're here. But the beautiful thing of it, we got video, we got YouTube that we can always go back and watch. Mike was talking about OJ. We got video of him running through the airport, jumping over suitcases when it hurts. The first black man I ever saw with a national commercial. You know what I'm saying? Yep. That kind of stuff like that. So we always gonna have that stuff lives on. But the two that kind of jumped out, that kind of really touched me was definitely the logo, Jerry West. That one kind of got, because he gave his whole life to the game of basketball.
Yeah, he did.
What he was able to do with the Lakers, as not only as a player but as a VP, to bring Shaq, to draft, to make that, to basically steal Kobe from the Charlotte Hornets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Some of the moves he made, you know what I'm saying, as an exec.
Yeah.
I just marveled at him. You know what I'm saying? And so to lose him, the NBA really lost a big part of the league, in my opinion. And number two, Joe Jellybean Bryant hit me hard too, because I just hate that his relationship with his late son was fractured.
Yeah.
We don't know the whole story. Did they make amends? I don't know, but we just know that they weren't really tight. You know what I'm saying? And so when he passed, that really kind of touched me, man, because I was like, yo, I hopefully that he and his son will reunite again and fix that relationship. So, and then Pete Rose, I have to throw him in there. The much maligned Pete Rose. And I'll be the first to say this. I believe he should be in the Hall of Fame. And unfortunately, he's probably going to get in. And I said this. I think, Mike, you said this too. I think we talked about this. It's going to take his death for him to be in, get elected. And I think that's a travesty, in my opinion.
I said that when that first happened. I'm like, okay, now.
So those are my three.
Well, and they're not gone.
Yeah, so those are my three, man.
Maybe if Pete gets in now that he's gone, Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds get in and live long enough to see themselves get inducted.
Definitely. I agree.
Good point. Good point, Mike. I agree with that, and I think they should be in. All right. Go ahead, Rico.
I tell people all the time, Barry Bonds was definitely a Hall of Famer before the juice allegation.
Yep.
Everybody talks about how Aaron Jones from the Yankees did all the.
I agree.
Y'all are tripping. I argued with my frat brother about this a couple years ago, and I told him, bro, if you don't have sense enough to see that Barry Bonds was a Hall of Famer before the steroid allegations, then you don't pay attention in baseball. None of y'all do. Because of what he did before those allegations, he was a problem. Like, he was the GOAT probably then. So,
no, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I feel you. I feel you. I agree with you, Rico, for sure. All right, guys, this is my last thing. I'm gonna let y'all get out of here. Y'all gotta give me your hot take in sports for 2025. What is gonna be a hot take in 2025 in sports that you think you're like, I'm calling it now? You're gonna see this in 2025.
Ooh.
Go with you first, Mike. What's your hot take for 2025?
What is my hot take? Oh, it might not be so hot, but Mike McCarthy comes back as the Cowboys coach.
I put y'all on the spot.
He'll be back.
Mike McCarthy coming back as Cowboys head coach. That doesn't sound far-fetched at all.
What you say, Mike? Repeat that.
McCarthy comes back.
Oh, McCarthy coming back.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's not that hot of a take.
Oh, he's coming back.
I mean, 2 weeks ago he was looking good, but then this past Sunday his stock dropped again. But you know, you know what? Let's go a little step further. Let's go a little step further. He tells Jerry, "Nah, dude, I don't want to come back. I got somebody else I'm going to be interviewing with a couple of teams. Because if I can put up with you and go 3 and win 12 games 3 years in a row dealing with you, I can go someplace else with some talent and win some games." So McCarthy tells Jerry, "I'm good. Out."
Okay. Wow. Now that's a hot take for sure. For real. Rico, what you got up there in Cleveland? Yeah, what you got?
2025. What if I told you that the Cavaliers can beat Boston in a 7-game series? I got Cleveland and Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals, and the Cavaliers will beat the Boston Celtics on the way to the NBA Finals.
I don't know. The way they've been playing.
Whoa.
I
can
go with that.
Far-fetched though.
Right.
Oh, Rico. But I get you.
The Cleveland Cavaliers will beat the Boston Celtics.
Because Cleveland. Okay. That's I can see that happening because Cleveland definitely has been balling. You know, you look at them right now, they probably are the best team in the East. When you look at what they've done thus far. So can they keep it up?
Yep, we blew out Golden State last night.
Okay.
But, Golden State is
well, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, the 2 guys coming out of Colorado, I'm gonna call it now. I think Coach Prime is not going to allow Shadir Sanders to go play for any team that plays in cold weather. I don't think it's going to happen. I think Coach Prime's going to pull a Archie Manning.
Or Elway.
Yeah, I think he's going to control where his son goes plays as well, right, or Elway. Or as well as Travis Hunter too. Yeah. And speaking of Travis Hunter, I don't know if y'all saw, but he signed with Lil Wayne's sports agency. I don't know if you saw that, Rico.
Okay. I don't like that.
He signed with Lil Wayne's sports agency.
Yeah, I don't like that.
But it's
not necessary. From what I was reading, but Lil Wayne won't be handling his sport. It's a sports agent that works for Lil Wayne.
I remember Master P and Ricky Williams
that would
about
be
30
doing
years ago.
But so Lil Wayne ain't actually going to be doing it. I know, right? And that's what a lot of people were trying to talk about. But this is a little different. This is
might be a services contract.
Yeah. So there you have it. So all right, my good brothers.
All right, happy
my
New Year,
good brothers, man. I want to appreciate you guys coming on with me. Good looking
out. Hey, Rico, how do I follow you, man?
We're going to be doing some more collaborating in 2025. Hey, Mike, I put his link in the comments, but I will send you his link too.
Okay. Nice meeting you, Rico. Good stuff,
baby. YouTube channel.
Nice meeting you as well, man.
All right, man.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So y'all make sure y'all follow my good brother, Rico too. Anyway, and then y'all follow my guy Mike. He all over the place but just go to KOTV.com and you can find him. Michael Coleman. You can find him. And he's always posting stuff. So,
all right.
Yeah. So again,
Happy New Year,
all right,
fellas.
my good brothers. Love y'all, man. Y'all enjoy y'all New Year's Eve.
All right.
We'll see you next year.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Peace out.
Yep.
All right. Again, I had some Wi-Fi hiccups, but it was all right. We got through it. I want to thank everybody that watches this later. This was the last live show for TFG Sports Media for 2024. I hope you enjoyed it. If you watch this later, again, I posted the link to my good brother Rico McGee in the comment section. Go subscribe to his channel, The Ruler's Minute Show. Check him out there. Go follow my, make sure you check out my good brother, Michael Coleman. He is the sports director at KLTV in Tyler, Texas, the ABC affiliate. You can go check out his stories there. He's on social media. Just type in Mike Coleman. You'll probably be able to find him. So again, this has been a great 2024. We're looking to do bigger and better things in 2025. I'm looking to expand my sports coverage. And I just want to thank everybody that's watched, that's subscribed, and that's followed me here on TFG Sports Media here on YouTube, as well as follow the page on Facebook and follow and subscribe to Kendrick Sports also as well on YouTube and follow me there. So again, this is it. We're rolling into 2025. So again, I hope you all will have a prosperous and great start to your new year. And let me say this, if you can't be good at it. All right? Make sure you keep it locked here. Again, the TFG Sports Media, as well as Kendrick Sports Hustle on YouTube and Facebook for all your sports, news, entertainment, and live streams. And you can also follow me on Instagram at Kendrick1969 and on TikTok, Kendrick Henderson51, until TikTok is no longer available for us in America. We're going to see. But you can follow me there too. So again, you guys have a safe and have a good New Year's Eve and have a great start to your new year 2025. I am Kendrick the Sports Guy. We will see you on the other side and on the next report. And as always, I got to leave you with this. It's always a great day to be what? To be a Green Bay Packers fan. All right, we are out of here. Until next year, I'm out. Peace.